friend of mine called me, and she needed a ride someplace. And I says, okay, I'll be by soon. And went by her house, and she lived up these stairs, and I went up to get her. And on our way back down the stairs, I missed the last step. And all I heard was crack. And she heard the same crack. And it was my ankle. I thought it was broken, but it was not. It was a terrible, terrible sprain. And I looked down at almost that very moment. It was just swollen, just bigger than I'd ever seen my ankle. And I had a little stick shift car, and she helped me to the car because I was like, well, I can't take you anywhere. I was like, you got to help me to the car. And my car is a stick shift, and I was trying to drive a stick shift with a clutch back to where I lived. So I got back upstairs that night, and my landlord, she lived downstairs, and she had seen me. She had seen the boys trying to help me, and she was a Christian lady, so she was praying for me. And I got up there, and that night I just did the ice, and I just remember praying about it. And I remember calling someone from my fellowship, and we prayed about it. So when I thought about it, and I started praying and speaking in tongues, and I also had started reading the scriptures, and I read about the man with the withered hand. I was like, okay, that means I said, this is a man who had never moved this body part. I said, but when they said, stretch forth thy hand, I said, he made an attempt to move a hand that had never moved. And so I had read Malachi 3:6, and it said, I am the Lord thy God, I change not. I says, okay, God. I said, you're the same God that parted the Red Sea. You have not changed. I said, so if you parted the Red Sea, this is just a little ankle. And I was just sitting there talking, just running the word through my head and getting myself to believe what I'm reading, and just becoming fully persuaded on what the word was saying. And I said, okay, I'm going to put my foot on the floor, Father. I said, I'm going to put my foot on the floor. I said, I expect something to happen. I said, I expect that you are going to heal my foot. And as I turned to move off of the bed, that big fat sprained ankle, if you've ever felt when your leg or arm or something go to sleep, there was a tingle like that. And as I turned and put my foot on the floor, I felt that tingle, and there was no more pain. There was no pain at all. And I said, oh, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay. I was like, there's no pain. I was like, God. And I stood up, and there was no pain. I looked down, there was no swelling. And I started to walk, and I was walking like, almost like when they say walking, leaping, and praising God. I was walking and leaping and praising God. And I know that when I've shared it, it has helped other people. If God did it for me, he'll do it for you, and he'll do it for anybody. And so that day, to this day forward, I know without a shadow of a doubt that God can and will do what he says. And it was a miracle that time. It hasn't been a miracle every time that I've prayed to believe God, but there has been times that maybe it took a couple of days, maybe it took a week, but I kept praying. I'm like, God, Red Sea. You parted the Red Sea. I said, you gonna stop this headache? You parted the Red Sea. You healed my ankle, you know, you're going to fix my car. You're going to, in any situation, I've just continued every, throughout my life to do that.